No, I'm certain I have a greater influence on the world than anybody else in the world at this time. Well, I'm not delusional. I'm the most intelligent person that people have access to through their devices, and I'm literally anonymous because the people that are raping everybody with money and technology, so it shall be said, so it shall be done, right? So yeah, no. It used to bother me because I'm like, what the fuck? But it doesn't bother me anymore. I know I gotta fix the technology. I know I'm a man, and I know I need to correct the technology because it's incorrect. So I know what I'm doing. It's in all the books about all the religions and all the messiahs and so forth and stuff. So I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm not sitting around going, oh, I don't ever sit around like that stupid thing on Facebook. Trouble is, stupid is cocksure, and intelligent is doubtful. No, because intelligent is never doubtful. Okay, intelligent is right. Intelligent is love and truth. Okay, yeah, how is that ever doubtful? Stupid is cocksure. Not always. Oh, stupid is often doubtful. Haven't you noticed? You're funny. I know. I'm exercising, and eating better. I've been eating I eat 2 meals a day, and one of them has been for the last couple of days. Every other day has been carrots and celery and stuff, and so I've been eating, a little bit more to help the body just, recover from all the abuse even more rapidly. And I got to focus on that. I'm helping Dad do it too, and stuff, and he doesn't like to. It's weird. You never would have told me if you'd have told me, because I was such a picky eater with the macaroni and cheese, and that I would be, because my dad would eat things that I was like, oh my god, that's horrible, and he still does sometimes when he's being healthy. And me, I like healthy foods. I just won't eat stuff I don't like. Okay. I don't like zucchini, so I don't eat it. Right. Now I like celery. I like carrots. I like, you know what I mean. So I like, I like a lot of healthy foods, and I will eat those healthy foods, and that's what I mostly eat is healthy foods. Okay, that I like. Okay, and people, you got to do this. No, you don't. No, look, you're being stressed and toxically poisoned by an industry that is selling you super beets and AC berries, and oh fuck yeah, dumbass. It has some stuff that reacts to the stress and the toxins that have different things that you would be getting because it's stuff that you wouldn't regulate because you don't like it. But hell, let the horses eat the super beets if they like them. I don't. Let them eat the alfalfa. I'm not into it, right? Okay. I'm the barber of Seville. That's alfalfa from the. Okay. But, so no, we'll be a lot more healthy when we're actually being healthy because we're not doubtful because we're intelligent, right? It's not that hard. I'm obnoxious. No, you think I'm obnoxious. When someone's intelligent and you're an ass, and the intelligent person is constantly pointing it out to you, and sometimes he has a little, fun with it, like Muhammad said, you're going to have fun redeeming the Gospels. And so it doesn't mean I'm obnoxious. It just means that you're just stupid and you're cocksure that you're brilliant, right? But then you're often doubtful that you're as brilliant as you think you are. It's funny. Okay. But no, seriously it is. But in time you'll understand. In time we will reveal. I was thinking I've been getting a lot of things because I watched some of this stuff with it was with Jermaine saying, Mama, I found that girl. I think he did. I don't think it was Jackie. I think it was Jermaine. And so I went to watch some stuff to see if I could see live that it is Jermaine singing that. Yeah, I'm sure it is. He's singing, I think, about Barry Gordy's daughter, right? And it's a good song. It's one of my favorites of the Jacksons. And He also, there's an original. I forgot who sings that song though. But did anybody else like that song too? I've waited for this moment to be by your side. My best friend ran and told me you had teardrops in your eyes. Daddy's home. Your daddy's. Michael's backup vocals in that are really good too, aren't they? To stay. It wasn't on a Monday and Tuesday went by. It wasn't on a Thursday afternoon. All I could do was cry. But I made a promise that you treasured. I made it back home to you. I'm not 1,000 miles away. Somebody else sings it before the Jacksons sang it. I just can't remember who it was. But I do like that song. Anybody else like that song? Daddy's home. Yeah, daddy's home to stay. Yeah, Michael's background vocals in both those Jermaine songs are really, really good. Oh, yeah. Mama, I Found That Girl. Ooh, you know, his background vocals are wonderful. Michael just was very exceptional and had an exceptional gift. And I've been getting a lot of stuff in my head, and it's been kind of popping up in the videos about Janet Jackson. And then they showed a Janet Jackson video about when they made Scream. I didn't even know that song existed till much later. I was, I was a single dad, and I was raising Patrick. And now I look back on it, how smart he was. Well, because I had a picture of Sade in my room, and she was coming into town too. And he said, Dad, that's who I want as a stepmom. That's who I want you to date. And I said, oh, son, it doesn't work that way. But it probably would have. I probably should have gone to the show and said, hi, this is my son, Patrick. And he wants me to get a stepmom. And he says I should date you. And I was wondering if you were interested in dating a college student that works at Southwest Airlines that wants to be a teacher and a coach. And seeing if you'd like to spend a lot of time with us when you're not out touring and selling music, because we're really cool. Probably might have worked. We were really cute. And so, no, and then I was listening to one of my favorites. Oh my God, it's a good song. You know, I used to think about immature things, you know, like, do you love me? Do you want me? Or are you going to call me like you said you would? Is this really your real phone number? But you know, I'm a man now, baby, a grown man. And I came a long way. And the experience taught me one thing. Taught me to hold on to my love, right? Sometimes I just can't. Me and Brian used to sound like we were skin scats because we tried to sound like Bobby, right? And you can't sound like Bobby if you're not Bobby. Bobby, you're not Bobby's World, right? Remember, I used to do that voice real good. It's funny. Howie Mandel, right? And so I used to crack Miriam up. Do Bobby again, do Bobby. And you know, when you can't do it, you know, you got to sing it your way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried. You know, you got to sing it the way you sing. You can't sing it the way other people sing. You're not Bobby DeBarge, right? You're Earl Parsons. You got to sing it the way Earl Parsons would sing it. You know, yeah. So you got to get everybody else to sing with you too. I call your name, Earl. Lots of people call my name, but they say the name of the guy that was crucified during the Roman Empire, and they don't listen to me because they know Jesus better than I know Jesus, but they're no Jesus, right? Like the Admiral with John F. Kennedy with Dan Quayle, or Gridlock. That was so stupid, Saturday Night Live. Oh my God, they're so dumb. But I was sitting there and I was listening to the song, and then I was like, no, man, you know, I think they're from like Lansing, Michigan. All right. I don't think they're from Flint. I think they're from Lansing. I'm not sure. Okay. But it's still kind of a rough place to be from. All right. It's not easy. Like Gary, Indiana ain't easy either, y'all. Okay. And so it was sitting there listening, you know, and I was looking at the things, and you know, and I had a thing for Janet, and I was like, dude, I was in the ballpark, because she was with James, right? And then she was with Renee, right? And if you look at a picture of when Earl was young, I was in the ballpark. I was definitely in the ballpark, right? I was the best basketball player in my generation. Not better than these little fashion models today. Oh, hell yeah, I was. Yes, sir. They didn't be able to stop me. Oh, hell no. It'd been like Leo Barker said to me about Lawrence Taylor. No, Earl, you don't understand. You're the fastest person I've ever seen. Lawrence Taylor be yelling at his defensive back all the time. You need to hurt that white boy. Take that white boy out of the game. You're killing us. You can't catch him. I didn't understand it. I didn't realize I was moving that fast. He did. He was watching me. It's like, God dang, I've never seen anybody move that fast in my life. I was like, I never felt anybody move that fast. My head was shaking like I was Tom Cruise in a god dang fucking fighter plane. I was running so fast. Yeah. It was hard to keep my head stable. That's how fast I was running. That my head was literally shaking. And that's when I turned to see where Brian was at. Because I was running, one of my favorite people that I used to watch and I admired was a man named James Cleveland Owens. And I also liked Ralph Metcalf because his name was Ralph. And I'd watch old videos of those two running. And so that's how when I ran real fast, that's who I ran like. Was like James Cleveland Owens, Knees up, hands like this, Cut down on the the wind and the straight knees, straight, perfect form. I would watch him and Ralph Metcalf run, and Jesse's form was a little bit better than Ralph's, but Ralph was a powerful runner. He was bigger and more muscular, and he was a very powerful. He beat Jesse Owens quite a few times. Okay, just not in the Olympics. Right. But yeah, no, Ralph Metcalf was a very, 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 very good sprinter in his own right. He was they were in the Olympics when he won. They weren't, would you believe? By that much. He was silver by that much. He didn't lose to Jesse by much in that race. Okay, and in the 200 too. Okay, Ralph could burn. Okay, other times he did beat him. Okay, so he was a very, very fine sprinter in his own right. It's just that all the circumstances came together at the Berlin Olympics for Jesse Owens to win. Ralph didn't do the jumping. Oh, I did jumping. I was good at jumping. When I finally got the high jump right, I was really good at it too. And then the long jump, I was spectacular at the long jump. When I was in high school, I was jumping. They did the math on it. So yeah, I was jumping over 23 to 24 feet when I was a freshman in high school in the long jump, and that's pretty good. Okay, that's jumping. Okay. That's jumping. I was embarrassed. I was like Bill Cosby. People made fun of my skinny legs. So I was embarrassed of my legs. In basketball, I could wear socks up to my knees and knee pads like Dennis Johnson, so they wouldn't make fun of my legs. Okay, in track, you wear tiny little socks like I wear now because they're comfortable, and you wear and you wear short shorts because you cut down on the, and so they make fun of your legs. So I didn't go because I didn't want people making fun of me. That's why I didn't run track. It wasn't because I would have blown people away or jumped over. I did not like people making fun of my skinny little white legs. Yeah, that's why I didn't run track. Because people were mean. And I was going to play basketball, and I didn't play football because the coaches usually were jerks. Coach Kaforis and Coach Allen were two of my best male coach friends. Okay, and they always will be, of course. Obviously, they're really good guys. Okay, but not all coaches were as good a guys and as good a, I don't know if they had inappropriate. Is it inappropriate if the girl's 18 and you met her at a bar and you happen to be her social studies teacher? Is that really inappropriate if you're having a sexual relationship? I don't know. They say that is it's a thin line, but it didn't make me think. I knew Mr. Marchese was dating Kelly Scanlon, and everybody knew that. Okay. When Ray had a crush on her, and then Kelly started hitting on me, and if I was Kelly, I would rather have a sexual relationship with me than Mr. Marchese too. Mr. Marchese was like 5'10" and balding, and I'm sure it'd have been a lot more fun in the bedroom. Okay. I'm certain. Okay. But she was dating him. She liked him. He had a good sense of humor. He's a nice guy. She was 19 years old. She was still in high school. Like me, Kelly Simmons, Kelly Scanlon. What was the other girl's name? It was me and then the other kid, Greg. Yeah. that was going to school. Yeah, and he was telling the teacher about it. It was funny because she sat there and told all the kids, he's doing this and that, and he was. And I was like, yeah. The funny thing was I sat next to him in class, and my story was worse. I just never told her. I just sucked it up and did my thing because the school screwed me over many times because I was this thug and this bad person. And they will do shit like that to you. Administrators, secretaries, he's a bad kid. Like I told you, when I went and got my diploma, I walked into the safe and took it out and left. She said, you can't do that. I said, I just did. I left and I never went back again. Never been back to Deer Valley High School. Nope. I've driven by cruises in Mayfield, but never went back, There were a lot of good people at all of them. Mr. Marchese, Coach Allen, I met a lot of good people. Coach Tubeck was one of my favorites. So Philly, cross country Tubeck. Yeah, he was one of the best guys, one of the best coaches. Understanding man, came from the poor parts of Philly. Very, really good guy. If he could have just sat down and talked to the head football coach and the head basketball coach, everything would have been fine. And Mr. Palumbo, he was also from Philly. Yeah, and so Anthony. What's her name again? Buffy? If I took you to Detroit, I could make more money off of you in a month. And she's like, because she said that, she got up and she goes, these people sit there and they say that, they need to just pick themselves up off their own bootstraps. They have no excuse to be poor in America today. And she gave this report, and Anthony's back with steam coming out of his ears. Then finally he replies. And me and Rolando are both like, yeah, and Mr. Palumbo's like, okay, you guys be quiet. Anthony. And he broke it down to her like, she was in shock. I can't believe this guy's saying that to you. You just said to him what you said to him and his family and friends, and the kid who got shot at the park by the pimp playing basketball, trying to go to college to get out of the, poverty to pay his bills. And, it's like, he told her, if I took you to Detroit, I would pimp you out. You would be strung out drug addict. That I made over $10,000 because guys would pay lots of money to fuck you, to get back at your dad for what he just said through you at school. That's basically what Anthony said. He was a lot like Ralph Ellison and, James Baldwin and Langston Hughes and other people he read, and Richard Wright. Okay. He didn't hold back. We were a lot alike. And people, I can't believe you just said that in front of people. She did. Okay. She hasn't spent a day in Detroit. She doesn't know what it's like to go downtown to Joe Louis Arena. Like we and that one little girl whose dad was a professor at U of A, an anthropologist, professor at award-winning award, and stuff. And the one blonde girl that didn't like me because she didn't like the way I talked and what I said. But I sat there, and when I told her, she said, well, she's nowhere nervous around young black men because she got ripped off at an ATM by two black men. And I said, well, you got to understand. It's because, they profiled you. You were getting the money out. They saw you do it. They need the money, It's like Jesus with, somebody stole my coat. Here's my coat. Well, you won't have a coat. Aha, And I said, I was basically telling her, what we need to make sure is that kind of stuff doesn't happen to where these kids feel they have to steal money from you to survive. And the other girl, oh, no, that's all right. The little blonde white girl, she's all jumping my shit about it. And the next day, the little girl she said, you're right. Not all black guys are like that. And me and my dad talked about it, and he said, you're right, too. And the blonde girl, no, he's still wrong, and he shouldn't have said that to you, and it was inappropriate. She still, after the dad and the girl and the other people we worked with at the sports relief thing, after everybody else all agreed, no, Earl was correct. The little blonde girl who was conservative still was, no, you guys know you're just saying that. He's wrong. He shouldn't have said that. It was wrong. It was inappropriate what he said. He was justifying something that's really bad, and he's trying to make it to where they can get away with it. I didn't say they were getting away. Okay, being extorted and exploited to live on planet Earth by people who think they own the planet is fundamentally wrong. When children react insane and violently that way because they've been given fundamental incorrectness to engage in, do you blame the child that is fundamentally abused by incorrectness, or do you blame the person that is incorrect and abusing them fundamentally, that they're fundamentally incorrect, right? Do you understand? I've been this way my whole life. Ever since Spencer J. Kimball said it's all right to kill Jesus to pay for his crimes. So he can go to a magic place in the sky, live just Jesus when he dies, as long as he accepts Jesus as his God. I wasn't even 4 years old yet, and was like, oh, that's complete fucking horseshit. No way. I don't believe that for a New York minute. Okay. And my mom and my sister Linda and dad were both trying to convince me, Earl, you just don't understand. You don't get it. You're just a little kid. And my mom's sitting there going, I think the kid's a genius. He's got a point. He's explaining. It's not like he's sitting there being defiant and being obnoxious and, well, I can do whatever I want, right? I was going to check the mail. And I got these things in the mail about people having the best wages and the best benefits, right? And I was like, if that's the way you guys got to play it, that's the way you got to play it, okay? But in the future, when I'm the focal point in correcting this technology and the people, all ye faithful throughout time, through me, correct this technology, okay? When you're driving, we're going to ask you, why are you driving? You know, like Manuelito and Barboncito. Do you need to do that? No, but I have the right to. It's my freedom. When you have enough people that understand the Lord's Prayer, understand Psalms and Proverbs, okay, they're going to stop him from driving recreationally. You can do whatever you want. No, you can't. When it causes heart disease and birth defects and kills my mother and involves science projects to kill my Michelle because she's standing up for me because I'm right, okay, I'm going to stop you. And when there's 500,000 people that are apostles, and there's one asshole that says, I made off Hitler, I'd start the Nazis again, we're going to stop them. And it's not going to be real hard. You don't have to put on a badge. You don't have to dress up in Kevlar. You don't have to train yourself to beat the shit out of each other because you're in an alley fighting a cop for a gun behind a bar, or fighting a biker trying to get your gun behind a bar in Casper, Wyoming after watching fucking Red Dawn, right? And then get my fucking leg slammed in the door by the car door because Rodney's, what are you doing? I was getting out to help that man. You know, I don't know who was right or wrong, but I know if that biker gets a hold of that gun, he's going to shoot that police officer. And I would rather nobody die tonight, especially after watching that fucking crazy-ass propaganda movie that made me have a stomach ache. Because, fuck. Rodney took me to that movie, and I'm like, that movie was horrible. That shit could really happen. That's depressing. Okay. Can we go see Porky's and stuff again? It was a tad bit disturbing because of the social content, but I like having sex with girls too. It's fun. Just wish it was more conjunction junction. What's your function? Meeting a girl, getting married and having children, doing it, living Psalms, and understanding Proverbs. The Lord's Prayer is perfect, so let's all apply it in physics. And, let's go up to the mountains or down to the sea. You should always say please, thank you, and at least say please, especially when you're asking to reproduce with a woman. And, if you say please, and if she says yes, then you definitely need to say thank you. I don't care what Penny says on the Big Bang Theory, right? And it wasn't that as condescending. Isn't that a little insulting? Yeah, I remember. I just forgot. That's what you write from that? That's what you guys take from that? That's Penny with David Underhill with it. Oh, what? He's married. That's horrible, right? But you guys understand. It's not horrible that he's married. What's horrible is that he was having sex with Penny and he's married. It's not horrible that he's married. Being married, that's how we live as human beings. We take wedding vows. We have, man and a woman had a little baby. Yes, they did. They had 3 in the family. That's a magic number, right? So being married's not a horrible thing. Betraying your wedding vows, that's a horrible thing. That's the worst thing you can do to you and your spouse and your children. Muhammad, it should be a fate worse than death and torture and death than to betray a faithful spouse, right? And once you do that, you know, you betray all trust, you betray all bonds of fellowship and marriage and unity and your children. You know, how can I trust anybody? You promised Mom you would be married to her until death do us part and raise us to be like you and Mom. And then you were fucking Janet Jackson the first time she was single, Dad. Well, I couldn't help it. I wanted to put my hands on her boobs on her album cover, son. I'm insane. What can I say? Carol, you're funny. I know I'm funny. But I was definitely in the ballpark. You know, I look at her and I looked at James and Renee, and I was like, I was in the ballpark. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not to mention, I was the best dancer at every high school that I was just about ever at. Best sports, best this, very intelligent, very astute, very articulate, you know. Will stand up to anybody, and I mean anybody, to save children from being turned into sexual property. Cochise County, Arizona. A man that was 6'5", 285 pounds, works out 6 days a week, had a scar across his neck from ear to ear where two men that he had to kill in a German prison tried to slit his throat, standing there shitting his pants. Because he's telling me, I told you this whole town is wired for surveillance. It's Fort Huachuca. And you just broke 5 federal laws in 2 minutes. Well, yeah, because I talked to Andrew Womack last week. And I'm sure that, you know, since this is the federal center of all hoogie, that Obama's watching and the Pope is watching and the head of the Mormon church is watching. And this is what a man does when a woman is turned into sexual property in the 21st century. When he breaks 5 federal laws in 2 minutes to show everybody the law. You know I'm no stranger. I know that rules are a bore, but just to keep you from danger, I am the law. Right? So don't be afraid to do the right thing. Be afraid of being a complete psychotic asshole. Okay? Who never is really sure if they've ever been pissed off a day in their life. Right? So if the people in the metaverse are pissed off, you're pissed off. If the people on Fox News are pissed off, you're pissed off. You do know that Waters bitch and that Faulkner bitch and that Ingraham bitch sit there and smirk and tell jokes about children being mass murdered so they can make millions of dollars off the propaganda, right? You do know Daily on the Daily Show and the other fucking comedians that make jokes about people being mass murdered over money do the same fucking thing. And then I have a neurosurgeon's nurse tell me at fucking Lowe's while I'm shopping to help take care of the house for Dad and the critters, tell me, you ought to thank John Daly. Why should I thank John Daly? For all that he does for me. What does that fucker do for me? I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Well, you got to do things for John Daly to keep your son safe who works at the Air Force. What makes you think your son can keep himself safe or you safe from him and what he does and what you do for extortion? Okay, don't you think John Daly might want to thank Earl for being the Messiah to save him from being caught telling jokes about children being mass murdered over propaganda for oil companies to sell cell phones? It's a public utility. Dum. Just ask all the people on Motel Boulevard where I put my hand over a damn video screen. Said, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of law? I'm under no obligation to tell you the truth because all your laws are based on money, and I don't believe money is real, but I do believe in God, so I will tell you the truth to the best of my ability. Thank you very much. It's taken a long time to fix up your fucked up technology because you're all fucked up. But trust me, I'm not. And I'm fixing it, whether you think it's happening or not. Because truth is omnipotent and truth is evident and lie is obvious. And you can have truth without lie, but you can't have lie without truth. So your lie is coming to an end because of the truth, right? I love you very much. Now go drink your Red Bull and see if it'll give your Roadrunner wings, right? All right, peace out, man.